All right, today we're going to break down Jannik Sinner's absolutely historic 2025 season, and we're going to focus on one mind-blowing statistic that truly sets it apart from any other season in the history of tennis.
Look, we all saw the victories, right? That incredible four-set win over Carlos Alcaraz at Wimbledon was just wow. But as amazing as the trophies are, the real story, the one that really redefines dominance, is buried deep inside the numbers. I mean, lots of players have had dominant seasons packed with titles. So what is it about Sinner's 2025 run that makes it so unique? Something statistically that we've just never, ever seen before. To really get it, to understand Sinner's achievement, we got to go back to basics for a second. We have to talk about the fundamental battle that's at the heart of every single tennis match. Just think of it like a tug of war. Every single point, you're either on offense, trying to use your serve to gain an edge, or you're on defense, doing everything you can to neutralize your opponent's serve with your return. Now, if you're truly elite at one of these, you're a great player, no question. But to master both of them at the same time, well, that is the undisputed holy grail of tennis. Okay, so let's get into it. Because this is where Sinner's 2025 season goes from just being great to being historically, unprecedented. So first up, let's look at his offense, his serve. Sinner won a staggering 92% of his service games. I mean, that is just an absolutely dominant number, and it ranked him at #1 on the entire ATP Tour for the whole season. But what's really wild here is the gap he created. This wasn't a close race. He was nearly 3 full percentage points ahead of some of the biggest servers on the planet, guys like Taylor Fritz and Giovanni Metpeci-Perricard. You know, at this elite level, a gap that big it's a canyon. Okay, so his serve was the best on tour. What about his defense? His return game? Well, unbelievably, Sinner also won nearly 33% of his return games, which, you probably guessed it, also ranked him #1 on the tour. And this chart just perfectly shows his edge over even the most elite returners. He was statistically better at breaking serve than guys known for their return game, like his great rival Carlos Alcaraz and the super persistent Alex de Minaur. He was beating the specialists at their own game on both sides of the ball. And that brings us to the crucial point right here, as Tennis Temple noted. It's not just that he was great at both serving and returning. It's that in the entire recorded history of the sport, no player has ever finished a season ranked #1 in both of these key categories at the same time. Ever. Now, to really understand just how massive this is, we need to look at how incredibly rare this kind of two-way dominance really is. So, the tennis analyst Jeff Sackman once called it the most exclusive club in tennis. And that's for the very small group of players who managed to crack the top 10 in both service and return stats in the same season. But being in the top 3 of both categories, that club is even smaller, even more exclusive. Since 1991, only 2 absolute legends of the sport, Novak Djokovic and Andre Agassi, have ever pulled that off. So this puts Sinner in a club all by himself, a club of one. He didn't just join an exclusive group, he created his very own #1 club. This completely changes the definition of what a statistically perfect season of tennis even looks like. All right, so we've established this is a historic, one-of-a-kind stat. But what does that level of dominance actually look and feel like when you're on the court? Well, it translates into this relentless, just suffocating pressure. Think about it. When you can't get an edge on your opponent's serve and you can't even hold your own serve consistently, the momentum just builds and builds against you point after point. As you can see from this chart, there's just no escape. And when we put Sinner's recent run up against one of the most legendary peaks the sport has ever seen, I'm talking Roger Federer from 2003 to 2005, the numbers are just astonishingly close. This puts him right in that conversation with the all-time great seasons. And that includes Novak Djokovic's mythical 2015 run. That year, Djokovic was a statistical monster, but even he didn't top the tour in both categories. Sinner did. So that brings us to the final fascinating question. When a player achieves a statistical feat that is literally a first in tennis history, and when their numbers stack up against the peak years of Federer and even outdo a key metric from Djokovic's incredible 2015 season, are we actually looking at the single most complete, dominant season ever played? The debate officially starts now.